Guard attacks Oldar, critical miss. Okay, well, there you go. A little overkill with 108 AC. Hey everybody, it's Bolshy here, back with another Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous build video. Now I finally finished my first full playthrough of the beta. It was a blast, I had a lot of fun. And I now have a better idea of how builds will actually work in the game itself rather than just theory crafting. So I'm going to revisit some of my popular builds from Kingmaker and revamp them for Wrath of the Righteous. Today we're going to be looking at the Untouchable tank build. This is a very durable build. It has high AC, high saves, high health. It's got everything a tank wants with some pretty decent damage, and it's fun to play. And you know, if you played Kingmaker, that having a durable tank character that doesn't immediately fall over when he gets focused is very nice to have, and it will make your entire gaming experience a lot less stressful. So let's take a look. Alright, so let's jump right into the build here. First of all, this build is built on the class Instinctual Warrior. This is a barbarian archetype that's kind of like a barbarian monk hybrid. One of the great things about it is that it really gets a lot of benefit from having high wisdom. Our focused rage is going to give us an additional +2 to hit and also a +2 to wisdom. And then when we hit second level, we get our wisdom bonus to AC, just like a monk. We also get some bonus AC just for leveling up in the class. So this is a very good defensive class all the way around. You could, if you wanted to, for your rage powers, you can pick up monk abilities like Purity of Body, these types of things. We're not going to be doing that because the rage powers we get are just far superior to these. So yeah, here we go. First level, we're going to go Halfling. Background is going to be Martial Disciple. That's important. That gives us improved unarmed strike for free. Our stat spread is going to be 7 strength, 19 dex, 12 constitution, 10 intelligence, 17 wisdom, and 10 charisma. Now, this odd number for wisdom is important. That's actually going to come into play later. Strength kind of hurts the first few levels. We're not going to have strength to damage, or dex to damage rather. And this is going to make the first few levels not so great for damage, but great for survivability. We're going to go, I like to go athletics, mobility, and trickery. Once I get mobility up to 3, then we'll start doing like perception or something. But you can do whatever skills you want. All right, our first feat is going to be dodge. We're going to get the crane suite of feats first. That's going to be our first priority. For deity, this doesn't really matter too much. The way I'm going to play this is he's going to start out as a follower of Aurori. This is kind of like the monk god, all about self-perfection, kind of the ascetic lifestyle. But I am going to shift this guy's alignment as he plays. So that's kind of like the one Munchkin-esque thing that I'm going to do with this build. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward build. The way I'm going to roleplay this is that he's going to start out true neutral. He really only cares about self-mastery, self-perfection. But as the crusade wears on, he's going to take on more responsibilities for the world at large, moving him towards more of a lawful alignment. And wouldn't you know, that allows us to take a level of monk later. Okay, so moving on. I always rationalize the mechanical things that I really want in the game. So you do you. Level 2, we're going to go Instinctual Warrior again. And this is going to give us, let's take a look actually. This is going to give us our Wisdom to AC, Cunning Illusion. Gives us Wisdom bonus to AC, and also for every 4 levels we get in this class, we get another +1 to AC. I forgot to mention that we also get our Wisdom modifier to Initiative. So since this is a dexterity-based class with high Wisdom, we're going to have very good initiative rolls as well, which is important for a tank. Moving on to level 3, now we're going to go into Rogue, and we're going to go Knife Master. Our goal here is to get dexterity to damage. We also get some really nice tanking abilities in the Rogue tree, and plus I just like the idea of a dual-wielding Knife Master halfling. So Knife Master, because we're going to be using daggers, and this is going to allow our sneak attack dice to be D8s instead of D6s. So this is going to bump up our damage a bit. So level 3 is in Knife Master. Get your skills however you want them. Our feat here is going to be Crane style, prioritizing those Crane feats. This is going to reduce the penalty for fighting defensively and also increase our dodge bonus for fighting defensively. So very nice for our AC. 4th level, we're going to go Knife Master again. Point and Dexterity. Get your skills out of the way. We're going to take Combat Trick, and we're actually going to take 2-weapon fighting here. We're going to start dual wielding daggers. There's a lot of good daggers in the game, so that's what we're going to focus on. Level 5, we're going to take our 3rd level of Knife Master. Very similar to the first Untouchable tank build of getting these rogue levels so that we actually can do some damage. Our level 5 talent is going to be Outflank. And this is one of those times where we prioritize, well, we can't even get Crane Wing yet, but Outflank is going to, first of all, be a great damage increase for us, but also it's going to buff any melee that you have in your party with Outflank. Finesse Training Dagger. If you go daggers, you will not be hurting for weapons throughout the game. There's a good supply of daggers. Level 6, we're going to go back to Instinctual Warrior now. We're going to go all the way to level 12 with Instinctual Warrior. So this isn't so much of a Munchkin build. It's a lot of levels in Instinctual Warrior. Level 7, we're going Instinctual Warrior again. Get your skills out of the way. Here we're going to go Crane Wing, prioritizing our defensive talent, feats, and abilities. And we're going to take Guarded Stance. Guarded Stance is going to give us +1 dodge bonus to AC and an additional +1 for every 4 levels of Barbarian we have. So this is a good AC ramp here. Keep going Instinctual Warrior for level 8. Skills out of the way. We get improved Uncanny Dodge, which is nice. Now we can no longer be flanked. So when you have 2 or more mobs attacking you, they no longer get their +2 or +4 bonus if they have the Outflank feat. They don't get those bonuses to hit, so that's really nice. Our next feat at level 9 is going to be Crane Riposte here, and this is the last feat of the Crane's suite. Now we only get a -1 penalty when we're fighting defensively, and we also get an attack of opportunity when something gets close to hitting us. Level 10 is going to be Instinctual Warrior again. Nothing much going on there. Level 11, Instinctual Warrior. Our feat, now that we have the Crane feats, and we're fighting defensively all the time, we're going to take Cautious Fighter. This is a halfling exclusive feat. It's going to increase our bonus from fighting defensively by 2, which is going to take us up to a grand total of +6 to our AC. Actually, that's +6 just for fighting defensively. We also get +4 for Crane Wing, so we're getting 10 AC whenever we're fighting defensively. I haven't played this one through, actually, like played the game all the way through with this build, but I have a feeling at about this point you're going to be untouchable. Here we're going to take the Lesser Beast Totem, Rage Power. That doesn't give us too much, but it's building to something later that's really, really good. All of our skill, our attribute, ability points go into Dexterity. Level 13 is going to be our 10th level of Instinctual Warrior. Our feat is going to be Improved Critical, and we're going to be focusing on daggers here. We're taking the Beast Totem. This is going to give us a +1 natural armor bonus and an additional +1 for every 4 levels of Barbarian, so very similar to Guarded Stance. We're getting a really good armor class ramp here. We also got improved, we've been getting Blind Fight and Improved Blind Fight just as class feats as well, so those are very helpful too. Next level, Instinctual Warrior. We get Greater Focused Rage. By the way, this is why we went with an odd Wisdom score, because now when we rage, we're getting +3 to hit and +3 to Wisdom. So that's going to take us to a base 20 Wisdom before any enhancement buffs. Get your skills out of the way. Your feat here is going to be Improved 2-weapon fighting. And our Rage Power is going to be Greater Beast Totem. Now this is going to give us the Pounce ability. That means every time we charge, we can get a full attack action at the end of our charge. This is not only great for a tank because we can move around the battlefield and still do damage, but also there's a Mythic ability that really bumps up the damage of this. So this is a big source of our damage, actually. Okay, and at this point we're done with Instinctual Warrior. We get a ton of AC and a lot of really great tanking abilities here. Now we're going to move into Fighter. This is a new archetype, the Mutation Warrior. Mutation Warrior is going to give us all the benefits that we love for being fighters, meaning bonus feats, weapon training, full BAB class, but also at level 3 we get the Alchemist Mutagen. So it's a very strong class for melee. Our bonus combat feat at this point is going to be greater 2-weapon fighting. Now we're getting 3 attacks with our offhand, and I believe 3 attacks at this point with our main hand as well. So hasted, that's 7 attacks, and we get to get all of those 7 attacks when we charge. Mutation Warrior again for level 17. We are going to take the feat Accomplished Sneak Attacker. That's going to give us 3d8 damage for our daggers, times 7 attacks. And we're also going to get Double Slice. Now at this point we have pretty much all the defensive feats that we want, so we're going a full offense. And we actually get quite a few offensive feats towards the end of the game, or at least the end of our leveling. This is not the end of the game. You reach level 18 or so in chapter 4, so there's still a lot of game left. Here we go. And we're going to be using the Dexterity Mutagen. This does kind of hurt us because it takes we take a -2 penalty to Wisdom, but the natural armor bonus and the Dexterity outweigh that. There we go. Level 19 is going to be Knife Master. Grab some extra skill points there. Our feat here is going to be, scroll down here, we're going to take Hammer the Gap. We're getting 7 or 8 attacks per round here, and Hammer the Gap is going to add damage for every consecutive hit we have against any one target. So this actually adds up for this particular build. And our rogue talent is going to be Weapon Focused Dagger, just to give us an extra +1 to hit. All right, so our last level, and this is the one kind of munchkin power gaming element of this build, is that throughout the playthrough, for my main character, I would be taking this guy from neutral and making lawful and good choices along the way, because, you know, it's also part of his character development in this particular role play, is that he's going to choose the Aeon path and move towards more of a sense of responsibility and community as he moves on. So that would justify the alignment change. And once we reach lawful, lawful neutral or lawful good, or whatever you choose to use, we're going to take our level in traditional monk. And that, we're also going to take a point in dexterity, get our skills, and our monk bonus feat. I would probably go with combat reflexes, or maybe improved initiative. It doesn't really matter at this point. Now, you could take this level of monk as soon as you reach lawful. That's what I would do. I would start trying to move towards lawful as soon as I was done with my barbarian levels, because I do definitely want to get 12 levels of Instinctual Warrior. After that, you've got about 5 or 6 levels to make the shift. And if you got your alignment to lawful before this point, you could take your monk level, maybe take combat reflexes and seize the moment in place of, say, weapon focused dagger, something along those lines. There's a lot of room for flexibility. And hey, if you don't like this move, just take another level in Instinctual Warrior, or not Instinctual Warrior, Mutation Warrior, and you'll get a bonus feat, and it's a good choice overall, or whatever you want. This build is unkillable at this point, so it doesn't matter what you do at the last level. But the goal of this build was to see, you know, while maintaining a coherent build, how high I could get AC, saves, and just survivability in general. And I think this is a great build to do it. All right, on to Mythic Path. Now, your Mythic Path can be whatever you choose. I'm going Aeon for this playthrough. First Mythic ability, Close to the Abyss, is a nice addition for melee characters. You get an extra attack. You get electricity resist and immunity to poisons on your second level. My first Mythic ability is actually Limitless Rage. This should be switched here. Limitless Rage first. Then we went with Archmage Armor and this is going to add a bonus to your AC. Whenever you get mage armor on yourself, you have to be the one that casts it though, and you can do this with potions. So even though this guy doesn't have any spellcasting ability, he does get potions. Mage armor potions are really cheap and easy to find anywhere. Next we go Mythic Charge. Now this is where where your damage really ramps up. For every Mythic rank you get 1d6 damage for every attack you make during a charge. Since we're pouncing with 7 or 8 attacks, multiply that by 7 or 8 and it really ramps up in damage. This is also divine damage and it doesn't get reduced with damage reduction. So a great choice here once you get charge. And I think that maybe you could bump this up in priority, but you'll definitely be level 15 or so by Mythic rank 5. Mythic rank 6, what am I doing here? At this point in the game, this is as far as I got. I think I ended up at Mythic rank 6. So the other two I would go with Abundant Casting, Improved Abundant Casting, just for my, my Mythic spells, which are really good. For Mythic feats, the first one I went with was 2-weapon fighting. This reduces your attack penalty by 2. Plus 2 to hit is always nice to have. Then I went with improved critical dagger. And then I was kind of running out of stuff, so I went with Mythic dodge, flawless attacks, and Mythic sneak attack. You can really choose whatever you want. I think the most important ones are 2-weapon fighting and improved critical. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at this build in action. This is on hard. This is with gear that's attainable up through chapter 4 in the game. There's been no modding, I actually didn't play with any mods whatsoever up until we got to this point in the game and I wanted to do respecs quickly. So everything that this guy has is available in chapter 4 of the game. Alright, we usually start with a pretty high initiative roll so you can act quickly. We're going to get a pounce off on this guy over here. And you can see right off the bat, like this is some pretty solid damage. He gets 8 attacks on his pounce. All of them get that Mythic charge damage, which I believe he's Mythic level 6, so that's an extra 66 per attack. And all of them hit. So he does really good damage as well. Pounce on a tank is especially helpful when somebody's chasing one of your ranged casters or something like that, or you need to eliminate a caster like this. You can get a quick charge off, get a full round attack on them with a lot of damage. And we're going to take a look at some of these stats in just a second here. But I think you can tell he's doing all right for himself. For somebody who's built for pure survivability, he's making short work of these mobs. Oh, I can't get a charge on this guy. Just wasted my attacks. There we go. Okay, now let's take a look. This is our first attack, highest attack bonus. I do have transformation on here, so this should be a 19 instead of a 20. But anyway, 54 plus 54 hit for a tank against an AC of 44 on hard difficulty is pretty solid. Let's take a look at his AC when somebody tries to attack him. Guard attacks Uldar, critical miss. Okay, well, there you go. A little overkill with 108 AC. Let's take a look here. Now, we are missing a shield buff, so if we found some way to get a shield buff, we could easily take this up to 112. But the angelic halo is actually glitched. This shouldn't happen. This is when you are angel and then you respec, the angelic halo gets glitched out and stays on your character. So this is not an angel mythic path. Although if you went angel, you could easily get this extra AC. Also, the transformation and frightful aspect, you're only going to be able to get those buffs if you have a brown fur transmuter. So this is a little inflated, but still, you're up around 100 AC, and on hard, for level 20 mobs, well, this was attack 4, you're looking at somewhere around plus 30 or 40 to hit. So, nigh untouchable. A lot of people have been asking for me to show gear, so here we go. Now, all of this gear is attainable through either drops or vendors up to Act 4. We've got the Aeon, how do you say that? Anyway, you get 3 additional uses of gaze. I didn't use that for the demo there. We got a call to violence, plus 4 saving throws, and plus 2 to attack and damage while enraged. Ring of protection plus 5. Ring of Nahindri Courage. I don't think that ever procced on me, so that didn't give me any extra AC. You know, most of these items are really to try and boost my damage as much as possible because my survivability is so good. Natural armor +4. You can see that there's room for improvement. I'm sure that later in the game there's even better gear available. But this is what I'm wearing for right now. These boots don't even work. They don't add your athletic skill to charge damage anyway. And I don't think I don't even have any ranks in athletics, so that's kind of a wasted slot there. I'd probably use the freedom of movement boots. Got a +2 dagger that gives me 2 extra attacks, and then a +5 shock dagger in the offhand. So nothing terribly special there. You can see, look at my saves. 42 to fortitude, 43 to reflex, and 28 for will. There's really not a whole lot of weaknesses in this entire build. 70 touch AC. Now that's without fighting defensively and everything else. So all in all, pretty solid. All right, that's the build. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.